What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q from Retro Q Gaming, back in effect as always, and I decided today I'm going to share a little secret about myself with all of you guys. It's something you may or may not know, but you probably already assumed, because hell, you know I'm a beast at everything I do, especially stuff that I really love. But I'm here today to give you a little bit of that Q lore, and that lore, my friends, is that your assumptions over all these years are probably true. Yes, I am actually a 100% Beast Mode certified Pokemon champion. And I know this comes as no surprise because obviously I'm a king at what I do and I love Pokemon so much. But let me give you the details, let me paint you a wide and varied tapestry of just how this came to be. So to do such a thing, we're going to need to go 19 years into the past, back to the year 2000, when Pokemon was still the new hotness, and the sound of dial-up modems were more than just a YouTube sound clip for nostalgia. But anyway, the year 2000. A little 12 or 13 year old Q, one of his friends, and his friend's mother were on the way up to Dublin. And in Dublin they were hosting one of the only ever two official Nintendo Pokemon events set here in Ireland. Naturally, the hype around this was huge and there were so many different things, and they advertised it so well. It was all in character, of course. There was the premise of challenging a true Pokemon League champion. And of course, naturally, for defeating a champion, there were many rewards for such a feat. So once we finally got up there, we stroll on in and we see just how everything is set up. There's all sorts of stations and tables set up everywhere. There's official staff to make sure everything and every battle is copacetic. Now there were a couple of rules and regulations you needed to stick by if you wanted to have any hope of going against the Pokemon champion. So the way it was set up, you had to challenge any other random trainer, basically any other Pokemon trainer, any other normal person in the room. You could have a battle with up to 6 Pokemon, you could not use any legendary Pokemon, and you couldn't use any glitched or duplicate Pokemon. The winner of each battle was granted a stamp, and once you had, I believe it was 6 stamps, you could actually go up and try to challenge the Pokemon champion. Now when it came to battling the Pokemon champion, of course, it was all set up in a really special way. You could use 6 Pokemon of your choosing, again as long as there's no duplicates or glitched Pokemon. You could even use legendaries. They could be whatever level you want, and you could use 6 of them. And the Pokemon champion only had 1 Pokemon. For those of you out there who've played Pokemon Red and Blue, you already know that when you catch Mewtwo in the wild, or not so much in the wild, but you know what I mean, he's level 70 in game. And like any Poke fanatic out there, you know as well that if you level up a Pokemon using rare candy, it doesn't give as major stat boosts as leveling it up naturally. So the Pokemon champion had 1 Pokemon. He had a single level 100 Mewtwo that was raised up from 70 to 100 using exclusively rare candy. Now, of course, this didn't faze your boy because naturally I am the Poke God. So I dusted off my Game Boy Color, booted up my Pokemon Red, set my team, and I had at it. Naturally, I survived the battle of attrition. I came out the victor because why wouldn't I? So naturally, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I was riding the high because let's face it, as a newly crowned Pokemon champion, I deserve that respect. I deserve the admiration and adoration. But you may be wondering, Q, what else did you get for winning the Pokemon Championship, for becoming the Pokemon Master, the Pokemon Champion, other than the obviously well-deserved respect and admiration of your millions and millions of fans around the world? And to answer that, I'm going to have to paint you another picture of what the Pokemon Champion setup looked like. He had a very basic looking little desk, nothing special about it, but on the desk sitting beside him, he had a very peculiar looking machine. Now, if you were to ever go back and watch, say, some of the early Pokemon episodes, maybe something from the Indigo League, you might actually see a representation of the computer he had. Because it's actually a carbon copy of some of the stuff they used in Pokemon centers. It's lots of pastel greens, bit of pastel pink, and of course, it had a Pokeball as the handle. There was a small little LCD screen on it, and there was a peculiar extra little slot. Now, as a newly formed and newly crowned champion, my proper reward was to turn on my Game Boy Color again, put one of my Pokemon back in the storage box, because I needed to have 5 spots on my team. I needed to leave 1 space open. Then I needed to save it, give him the cartridge, he would pop it into his little machine, pull the handle, It played the little Pokemon Center healing jingle. And then he would hand me back my red cartridge. I booted it back up and suddenly I have a 100% legitimate Mew. And that is the only thing a true Pokemon master, a Pokemon champion like myself could ask for. A legitimate 151 Pokedex entry. And there you have it. There's my journey from lowly Pokemon aficionado to supreme leader and Pokemon champion and Pokemon master. Naturally, I've carried all those skills and knowledge with me to this day, and of course, I will bring them forward forevermore. Now, if you'll excuse me, as an almighty Pokemon champion that everyone has to look up to, I'm gonna have to flex a little bit, and it's time for my date with Cynthia. Peace out, fellow Pokemon trainers, and I will see you in Sword and Shield on Switch.